This afternoon, the state capitol is a gathering place for law enforcement from across Wisconsin as they honor officers killed in the line of duty and support those still serving. Our Tabitha Bland is live at the Wisconsin Law Enforcement Memorial on the Capitol grounds with a look at today's ceremony. Tabitha.
Helena, thank you. We're standing in front of that memorial site right now with lots of people here in support. They're handing out red roses to the surviving families of some of these officers, and all of their colleagues are here in support today. We just actually watched that procession come through. Lights, sirens, enough to make you stop and look and understand why they're here today, for the sacrifices that were made. All of the names on the memorial site here are very important names, but we do want to mention one that is being added this year. It's the 295th name that will be added to this memorial. That is Kendall Corder, the Milwaukee officer who was shot and killed in an ambush in July of 2025. Again, the surviving families are here. We're just getting ready to hear some live music, watch the event happen today, and remember all of the sacrifices that were made for the state of Wisconsin and for our nation from these officers. We'll be here throughout the afternoon, and we'll have more coverage in our shows later today. But for now, we want to send it back to you guys in the studio.
Tabitha, thank you. And if you're heading downtown for the ceremony or just driving through, a quick traffic note: the 10 block of East Mifflin Street and North Pinckney Street are closed, along with the 100 block of East Washington Avenue and North Hamilton Street. Those streets are expected to reopen around 1:30 this afternoon, and Metro bus routes are not being impacted.